Welcome to The Growth Kit, a podcast where science and actionable advice intersect to help you live a better life. 6 strategies to improve health span for each decade of life. Aging is not lost youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. Better freedown. Yes, you're going to die. But aside from a chance accident killing you, you have a lot of control over your lifespan and your health span. Unfortunately, the latest trendy supplement or the recent diet fad isn't going to have much impact. What will is the unsexy stuff that you do consistently. These generally fall into the 6 dimensions of health: stress management, movement, nutrition, socialization, mindset, and sleep. The best thing to do to avoid chronic illnesses and get a good ROI for your overall health is to optimize each one of these areas now and then. Do it consistently for the rest of your life. The issue is that we're human, and humans can't successfully begin multiple habits at once and continue to carry them out for long periods. At best, we can start one habit at a time, but even those take a ton of effort with high failure rates, hence an 80% failure rate for New Year's resolutions by February. So what if you had a full decade to focus on each of them? This is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but each decade of your life is marked by sociological distinctions, and putting a magnifying glass up to those differences will help to support each of these areas of health. Let's break down the most appropriate pillar as it relates to the biggest stress point of each decade in order to live longer and better. Note, everyone is different, but I'm going to make plenty of generalizations based on ages. Please don't take it all personally. Your 20s, movement and exercise. Ages 20 to 30 consist of some of the most transformative years of your life. If you're like me, you made plenty of bad decisions, had too much fun, read, alcohol, and your body did plenty of forgiving for that fun. The brain is still not fully developed, meaning that executive functioning skills are still in the implementation phase. This, along with plenty of energy and a new career, means that many 20-somethings don't have their sleep, nutrition, and stress management dialed in. Yet although they are crushing the socialization game. The best thing to prioritize in this decade, then, is movement. Establishing good movement habits here sets you up for the rest of your life. There aren't many 40-plus-year-olds who are hitting the gym or signing up for a race if they didn't do it in their 20s. When work life, family life, and other time clamps incrementally come along, it will be more difficult to create a habit. Start here and set yourself up for life. Do this. Find a way to get 8,000 to 12,000 steps per day, lift 2 to 3 days a week, have a high-intensity workout every 1 to 2 weeks, and balance this all with 3 hours of Zone 2 training each week, a minimum of 45 minutes per bout, with a rest day here and there. These are the minimums. Your 30s, nutrition. Everyone looked around 10 years old when they were 10 and 20 when they were 20. But this decade is where that line graph begins to split, with the high school reunions being the litmus test. The main factor is because of nutrition. Every cell in our body is made up of what we eat. If they're fast food cells, then your body is likely on the road to diabetes, hypertension, low testosterone, weight gain, and limited energy. If they're cells made of whole foods, you're on the right track. You're less likely to be living with friends or going out to eat on a whim, and more likely to have the opportunity to do plenty of home cooking. Set yourself up for success by stocking your pantry with healthy staples, get a decent and non-toxic pot, pan, and knife, and start experimenting with recipes to drop into your weekly rotation. Do this. Get your nutrition dialed in with some self-experimentation. Find out what you operate best with. High-carb and low-fat diet, or low-carb and high-fat diet. Identify any allergies you might have, and throw in some intermittent fasting here and there. From there, limit or avoid processed foods as well as the big 3: grains, seed oils, and sugar. With this template, go wild on finding the best. Your 40s, stress management. Once you're over the hill, you're in coasting mode. If you have kids, they're in a solid routine and relatively self-sufficient. You're likely in a stable career and are well beyond the learning curve. And your next life milestones are probably not until your kid's graduation or your retirement. Stability has arrived. Stress management should be the primary focus of this period. Since your days are so stable, compared to the wildness that is life before now, you are less likely to handle stressful situations well. It sounds counterintuitive, but undulations in stress are actually a great form of hormesis for the brain and body, for most. In a best-case situation, you have a stressful experience, and you're forced to utilize your sympathetic, fight, flight, freeze response to successfully manage the situation and then eventually activate the parasympathetic nervous system, rest, digest, repair, while coming out a more resilient person and adapting to better handle similar situations in the future. In a worst-case scenario, you're in a constant sympathetic state, chronic stress, and develop maladaptive behaviors associated with all forms of stress from microstressors to trauma. You never achieve a sense of resilience, a growth mindset, or the skill to buffer stress, further perpetuating this cycle. Regardless of which of these scenarios you associate yourself with more, being more adept at handling stressful situations requires practice outside of the situation itself. After all, you can't teach someone to swim when they're drowning. Do this. Find active stress management techniques and practice them regularly. Challenge your mind and body with hormesis as a tool for resilience by incorporating sauna, cryotherapy, fasting, and exercise into your routines. Other stress management techniques include breathwork, biofeedback with HRV, mindfulness, talking to a psychologist, and meditation through apps such as Headspace, Insight Timer, or Waking Up. Your 50s. Sleep. The corporate ladder is climbed with nowhere else to go. The innocent kids are no longer innocent, and those underlying health issues require more frequent doctor visits. These might be some reasons why your 50s is the most emotionally difficult. In a 2013 survey of 23,000 Germans between 17 and 85 years old, researchers found that there was a U-shaped curve in life satisfaction. The bottom of that U is right in the middle of this decade. The authors theorize that this might be due to unmet expectations that are felt painfully in midlife. One of the best ways to mitigate the difficulties through this tough decade is with better sleep. Good quality sleep is arguably the most important thing you can do for your health. It improves your mood, your stress tolerance, and your relationships. Low quality sleep leads to weight gain, low testosterone, hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, anxiety, and depression. It's in your 50s that sleep architecture begins to decline due to hormonal changes in cortisol, melatonin, ghrelin, and leptin. More frequent waking, more difficulty falling asleep, and less deep sleep are some of the common signs, although snoring, sleep apnea, and REM sleep behavior disorder doesn't help either. These issues, in addition to common diseases like diabetes, impact your quality and quantity of sleep, and dozing off for anything outside of the recommended 7 to 9 hour period shortens life. Do this. Start by changing your mindset on sleep and making it sacred and a high priority. Modify your sleep hygiene by incorporating blackout shades, taping your mouth shut for better nasal breathing, and avoiding food and blue light for 3 hours before bed. Track your sleep with wearables such as Fitbit or Garmin watches. If your sleep is still not dialed in, seek a sleep medicine practice. Don't worry, many sleep tests can now be done at home. Your 60s. Socialization. Yes, you're plumped into the geriatric category this decade, but you're also approaching the best year of your life. According to that same life satisfaction survey mentioned above, 69 years old is up there with 23 years old as the best years of your life. In this decade, you're probably not going to be convinced to overhaul your diet, hit the trails for a hike a few days a week, or finally start that meditation practice. You're stuck in your ways, and that's okay, as long as your ways are healthy. The final pillar of health, socialization, is the most likely modification you'll make here with the strongest impact. The average age of retirement in the U.S. is 62, and the average lifespan is 79. That's 6,209 days to live it up with people you love. Do this. Schedule trips with friends, monthly dinners with family, weekly bike rides with your friends, or backyard happy hours with the neighbors. Whatever activity you put around it, Just make sure you're in the physical proximity of friends and family more often. Your 70s. Mindset. Mindset is everything. It shapes the way we see ourselves, our place in the world, and the world around us. It can be broken down into many different areas, but generally, people can be sorted into two categories: having a growth mindset and a